Hey guys, welcome back to another installment or episode or whatever you want to call it of Gimpys Gal Guesses. Today I am going to be guessing heroes of the Colosseum. So here is the front. Before I get into it, I just wanted to say we were hoping to have one of these Gimpys Gal Guesses videos up a few days ago. But if you follow my husband on Facebook, you've probably seen what's been going on, and to just keep it short. Our son, he's 3, gave us a little bit of a scare, and we've had to go just dealing with doctor's appointments and trying to figure out what's going on with him. He's fine. He seems perfectly good now, but it's kind of occupied most of our time. And I just wanted to say thank you for those of you that commented and sent your well wishes. It really means a lot to us. Obviously, our family is everything to us, as I'm sure it is to you, so you understand how much that means to us. So thank you so much. And I'm just going to go ahead and get into this. So again, this is Heroes of the Colosseum by Lock and Load. I am going to open this up like this so that you can see, is it still in frame? Front of the box. And I'm just going to pull everything out and we'll see if we can figure this one out. So I don't even remember the name of the last one that I did, but I know I was really close. I think he's playing the one I guessed last time. He's got it set up on the table in front of me. Picket Duty was the last one I guessed. And he actually, when we got done filming, he was like, oh, you got this part wrong. It was actually, I think it was the list or something that I was guessing what that meant. And he's like, no, you're wrong. It means this. And he actually ended up looking it up after the fact. And I was closer to being correct than he was. I had to say that because that's very rare that will happen, especially in gaming, that I would be closer. I wasn't right. I wasn't 100% spot on, but I was closer than he was. Oh no. All right. It may fall over. If it falls over again, we'll just leave it. All right. So actually, let me show you the back of this box first. Heroes of the Colosseum. Just saying the word gladiator. So obviously this is going to be a gladiator type of game. Okay, inside you will find rules to personalize your gladiators and charioteers, making each truly unique. A way to generate non-player opponents, which we've seen in other games that we have guessed or I have guessed. 2 gladiatorial arenas. 1 racing oval, beautiful counters, and beautiful counters. Well, now they've set the bar really high, so I am expecting a lot from these counters because they said they're beautiful. A roster sheet, already said that. No, roster sheets, equipment and horses. Says it's quick to learn, but hard to master. Combat and racing rules, easy to use campaign system, 3 different locales to fight in. Yeah, so that is what the back of the box looks like. So let me see if I can get this to set up. Flip it over to hold it a little better. There we go. So, gladiator style game. I didn't see a player, like how many players? Okay, ages 10 and up, 1 to 6 players. 1 to 2 hour time frame. And the complexity is, what is that, out of 10? 6 out of 10 for complexity. On the back of the box it says all this. So 1 to 6 players, 10 and up, and you're looking at a 1 to 2 hour playtime. And it said you can customize your gladiators to make it really personal and cool. So I like to do the counters kind of last. So we'll start with the rulebook. Is that the rulebook? Nope, that is not. Those are sheets. So it's going to be one of these 2 here. So there's Heroes of the Colosseum, Charioteer, and Heroes of the Colosseum. Am I missing something on the front of these? Is it 2 different types of games?
Yeah, that was the trick. I wanted to see if you picked up on that.
Okay, so it's 2 types of games. So that's why there's 2 different rule books.
Yes.
Okay. But don't say anything else. All right, so this is the rule book for the Colosseum side of it. It did say on the back of the box, 2 gladiatorial arenas and a racing oval. Where did I see that? I think basically you can play as a gladiator or a charioteer. Sometimes he'll just like give me this like smile, and I can't tell if it's a smile of like, whoa, you're dumb, or if it's a smile of like, crap, she's got it. So I don't know. That's my guess is why there's 2 different ones. It doesn't really say on the back. As a gladiator or charioteer, you start your journey to fame and fortune far from the eye of the crowd on the outskirts of the empire. All right, let's just take a look in the books and see. That's what my guess is like you can either play it as a gladiator in the Colosseum or a charioteer, and maybe there's these other arenas that it says there's 3 locales to choose from. So open up this Heroes of the Colosseum rulebook and you have table of contents. So we know how I feel about that. And by the way, it feels nice. Like this is cardstock material on the front of it, so it's not just papery. But I like the box. It is very Roman, very gladiator. It reminds me of the movie Gladiator, which, who was it that was in that? Mel Gibson? Was Mel Gibson in? No, that was Braveheart.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Whatever. Wow. I was going to say, oh, wow. I just brain-farted. The guy that was in Braveheart, Mel Gibson, is very attractive. So I thought for a second he was the one in Gladiator, and I was like, oh, I love Gladiator because he's in it, but Russell Crowe doesn't really do it for me. But that's a good movie, and that's what this box really portrays. So table of contents for the Heroes of the Colosseum, which that is the name of this game. So maybe this is some type of expansion that comes with it, so that you can play different characters and do different things with that. But this is like the main rule book for the bulk of this, is my guess. So in here, it says introduction, what you need to play. It says an arena, 2 dice, 3 gladiators, 4 roster cards, 5 counters, 1 tracking counter, 2 equipment counters, and bonus dice counters. The arena, it's just breaking down what you need to play each round. And it's so funny because at the end of these, it says stop before you go on to the next one. You can see like it's like tells you all the stuff and it's like stop, and then it continues on. So I guess it's like, take a break, compose yourself, make sure you have all this figured out, stop, and then move on to the next one. So then it says the gladiators, and it just breaks everything down, and it just is cracking me up that every time it finishes explaining a different part of it, it says stop in bold. So that's very interesting. Introduction, needed to play, so it just breaks it down in here more so we can see what all we need, how to play. This one doesn't have my preferred thing, which is just like, this is how you play this game right here, easy peasy. I don't like it when there's like all these things you have to learn about and read about, and you got to set this up and name this guy, and then he has to get married and have a family before you can have him go off to the arena and fight. That's not really what this is. I'm obviously being facetious, but I like simple. Left 4 Dead, shoot the zombies' brains out, we're good. So trying to piece this together, but I am not seeing something that just says, how do you play?
This company makes a Left 4 Dead-like game.
Does it?
Mm-hmm. All things zombie.
6, we use counters to represent the different gladiators. Well, that's good to know. Maybe we can do that one next. All right, to help you learn the game faster, here we go. We use stop boxes, which is what I was just talking about. At the end of every few sections, you will find a box that recaps. Oh my gosh, this is so speaking my language. Thank you, Lock and Load, because this is perfect. So basically, in the front of this is the table of contents, but in each section, it's going to break down different parts of the game, and then there will be a stop box, which is going to be a general breakdown of what you just read. So it's a summary. So it's perfect for someone like me who just gets very like squirrel when she's reading. It's not that I'm not intelligent, as I've said before. I've read the 50 Shades of Grey books, so clearly I read, but it has to catch my attention. So these stop boxes are really cool. Is this something new that Lock and Load is doing? Like, is this the first time you've ever seen this stop box thing, or they do it in other games too? The summary boxes in the rule book.
It's in some other games.
I really like that. So that's amazing. So this one already gets like 2 thumbs up from Gimpys Gal. So by using the boxes and playing the small exercise, you'll learn the game in no time. So that is absolutely perfect for people, probably more women that are like me, who like to learn as you go, because you don't have to read the rule book cover to cover to learn this game. It looks like you can just kind of go through. It says you play the small exercise and you can use these little stop box summary boxes to figure out the basic gist of the game. And for me, once I do it, I'm good to go. So this is really speaking my language. I think I'm going to nail this one on figuring it out. So let's find the first stop box so I don't have to read any of this. Here we go. First stop box right here. That is what a stop box looks like, and it is after the first section, which is like the whole breakdown of like how to play. So we use counters to represent the different gladiator fighting styles that you can play during the game. The counters are used in the arena, moving from movement zone to zone. Additional counters are used to track damage on the roster cards, track the number of bonus dice each gladiator has remaining, and track equipment. So you get bonus dice that you can re-roll, I guess, throughout the thing, and you keep track of it on your roster cards, which are these right here. Right? Haha. See, these stop boxes are making my job far too easy. So these are the little roster cards, and they have all the different gladiators' names on them, and they're, let's see. Yeah, it doesn't say that like this one is for gladiator, this one is for charioteer. So I don't know if they can be used interchangeably, but we will figure it out as we move forward. But these are the roster cards that this stop box is talking about. So this is where you track the number of dice. So I don't see where you track that because it's not on here. This just says savvy, speed, and strength. If we read the actual literature here, we probably know which one the dice represents or what each of them, I don't know. Just ignore me right now. I'm just a little out of it. So these are the roster cards. Track the number of bonus dice. The arena has 3 types of movement zones: wall, heart of the arena, and the center of the arena. Fight in the center of the arena as much as possible, as this is where you can influence the crowd and the emperor. To pass dice, you must score equal or less than the attribute in question. A success is a score of 1, 2, or 3. When rolling bonus dice, you are trying to score a success. So I thought this was going to make it like super easy, but that it's really not, because I still don't know like where you start. Obviously it says we use the counters to represent the different gladiator fighting styles that you can play during the game. And you use those to indicate your movement in. Let's get the map out. Maybe that'll figure it out. Or the Colosseum or the different. Okay. Arenas. Okay, here we go. These. Okay. I think that these little cards are the charioteers. Because I didn't see these a second ago, but these have the little picture of the chariot there at the bottom. So that should have been a duh, but I didn't see any other cards. I was looking for more cards this size, and the gladiator ones are larger. So these are the gladiator roster cards. So this is where you keep track of all of your stuff. So savvy, speed, strength, and then you have head, chest, left arm, right arm, belly, left leg, and right leg. So your damage. And then over here, you have, I guess, what your like strengths and stuff are. Those numbers have to mean something because they're different on each one. So like this one says -1 savvy, -1 strength. So obviously that means something. We just don't know what exactly it means yet. But there's a lot of these. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the gladiator ones. And again, this is what they look like. Oh, no, there's even more because they're front and back. And they have different, no they don't, they have the same name. What is different about them? Nothing?
Maybe
Something
equipment.
different? Looks the same right now, but I'm sure there's got to be a difference in each side. But anyways, so yeah, it's front and back, and it looks the same on both sides from what I have seen thus far. So I'm not sure what the front and back is all about, but these are the gladiator cards. These are the charioteer roster cards, or roster sheets or whatever. This says Arena 1. So it said there was 3, I believe, arenas to choose from. So the arena has 3 types of movement zones. Okay, so here it says that right here. So the walls on the outside, top and bottom, and then you have heart, which is like the square around it, and then the very, very center is where it says you should do the bulk of your fighting. Why did I say it like that? Doing it there is where you can get, that's where you can influence the crowd and the emperor. So that must be meaningful for you to win. So that's why it recommends that. These are 2 of the other. Yeah, here is Arena 2. Same thing, just larger. And then we have the Circus Maximus. So this is another type of fighting area, right? No.
Racetrack.
Oh, it did say that about a racetrack. It said combat and racing rules. Yeah, it said something. Oh, here we go. And 1 racing oval. So this is the racing oval. So the charioteers race. That's what they do. They don't fight each other. The gladiators fight. The charioteers race. So those were our 3 setups, or whatever it was called. Fighting locations, locales, whatever they call those. Okay, what else do we have under here? Just this book and then this. So here's the Colosseum. Hit location. So this is talking about when you get hit, what happens. So like it says circumstance, modifier, hit location, there's numbers on the side. So this circumstance says swordsman, modifier, allowed to roll twice, choosing the best result. So I guess depending on which of the gladiators you choose, you will have these, I guess they come with different special abilities, and this kind of just breaks that down. I don't know, it's really very, like, a whole lot of rules and a whole lot of, like, just, not my thing. But I mean, it seems pretty simple. Like I said, I didn't see anything that just literally said, this is how you play. Like, this is awesome to have these little stop boxes to break down each chapter so you don't have to read it front to back. And it said if you play the easy, the easy setup, you can play it with these stop boxes and get the general idea of it. So I'm going to move on to the next one really quick because I don't want this to be a forever long video, and see if this next stop box will give us any better indicator of this. Okay. Here's the Colosseum can be played solo, same side or head to head. When learning the rules, we recommend solo play as it will then be easier to teach others. Perfect. Each fighting style, and then it references in here where it's talking about in this little stop box. So it says each fighting style, and it references where you need to go to get more details on that. Has their traditional opponents listed in their section, but you can choose to fight any gladiator combination that you want. When you need to generate NPG opponents, we use the gladiator pool. Be sure to roll 1d6 for each listed attribute. What happens if you roll a 4? How about a 1? You can choose to fight to the death or not. Otherwise, when playing a campaign, roll 2d6. A result of 7 means the match is to the death. Okay, that's good to know. Review the beginning of the match to get an idea of how the game flows. At the start of each turn, all gladiators roll 1d6 on the movement table to determine in what order the gladiators will move. There are 3 phases in each gladiator's turn. Movement is first, attack is last. What phase is in between? You're not supposed to be quizzing me, stop box. You're supposed to be breaking this down for me and making this so easy. You are failing. I'm not taking a quiz. And the other one had these little questions in it too, and I just didn't think much of them. But this one, it's like a study guide. It's like, here's the basic gist of it, but we're gonna keep you thinking. So anyway, there's 3 phases. Turn sequence. Here we go. Phase 1 is movement. Phase 2 is maneuver, and phase 3 is attack. So here we go. The first phase of each turn is movement. Movement is not simultaneous. That's all it says on movement. Oh no, it has a different thing up here. At the start of the turn, every gladiator must determine when it will move. Here is how we do it. Consult the movement table. All gladiators will roll 1d6, as already said. Modify the score by any applicable circumstance, which is what I think this comes into play because it says circumstance on here. So you can modify that depending on who you're playing as, I guess. Movement starts with the highest total and works its way down to the lowest. Ties are just re-rolled. So that's how you determine when you will move. So then the second phase is the maneuver. Next phase, this is where the gladiators in the same movement zone maneuver to obtain the best position to attack their opponent. So there you go. This is a dice rolling game. I don't see any little figurines, which I think would have been awesome. And if I could find little gladiator and little chariots, I would probably get them and paint them and use them because I think that would be really awesome. But it does have counters, which we're going to look at in a second. So the maneuver is not your movement. It's just positioning your gladiator or your gladiator to give them the best attack on the opponent. And then the third phase is the actual attack. Gladiators, as directed by the maneuver table, will attack each other. So the maneuver table, I don't think is in here, is it? Passing attack. There's lots of very important information though in here. So these are important. Like this little, I think, is it 2 of them or is it one that's just, no, it's like a little, I think I had it backwards. I don't know, but these have a lot of really good information in it. So anyways, so that's the basic gist of it. For the gladiator side of it, you do a movement, a maneuver, and an attack, and then basically you're just trying to beat it, just like the Colosseum, just like the movie The Gladiator. You are trying to be the last man standing. It did say that you're going to roll a dice to see if it's to the death or not, because not all matches will be to the death. I forget what number it said, but it did say what number. So this has a lot of really good information in it for when you're actually doing your dice rolls and all that stuff. So now on to the counters. These counters feel pretty sturdy. They're not falling out like the last one. They were just, I barely touched it and they were falling out. There was one that was a little loose, but that's because I kind of hit it hard. So here are the counters. I'm going to do an up close really quickly. And then I think the back is pretty much the same. So it looks like these probably indicate damage that is done. These ones, I'm assuming that's what they are. And then you have just some dice ones. Maybe that's how you get your bonus dice or your extra dice. Then we have weapons here. You have your gladiators right here, and you have your charioteers over here. So these act as your, this is how you move, your counters are. And then these are explained here, and you just put them on the board with your guy or your charioteer when it tells you to. So now that I have gone through everything, I think I can give a pretty good guess as to what this is. So it is 2 games in 1, which we have come to the conclusion with the assistance of my amazing husband, because I really was a little on the fence about that at the beginning. I was like, these are 2 different books. What is this? And I guessed it, but he did help me. He kind of said, yeah, you're right. So it is 2 games in 1, which is cool. It is a racing game and a fighting game. It is just like the movies. The charioteers are going to race on this racing oval, and then the gladiators are going to fight in the arenas. Here is the racing oval where the charioteers will fight or race, and then we have the arenas for the gladiators to fight in, and there's 3 phases to your turn: movement, maneuver, and attack. And that is what you do. At the beginning of each turn, you will get to determine if it's to the death or not by rolling the dice. It said that in there, but I don't remember the specifics on it. But I do know that not every game is to the death. Every game will be different. It did say on the back of the box that you can customize I think it was a gladiator or a charioteer to make it a little more personable. So I didn't see that in there, but I'm not reading. I mean, that would be pretty boring if I just read the rule book cover to cover. That wouldn't really be me guessing. So I tried not to read much of it, just little tiny pieces, because you have to read some of it to have any guess. Otherwise, it would literally be blind guessing and would not be very long at all of a video if I did it that way. So that's my guess of Here's the Colosseum. It is a racing game and a fighting game. It's basically a dice rolling game. You're rolling the dice, and that determines where you move, when you move, how you move, how you're going to attack, what damage you do. So it's all based on the dice. It can be played single player or up to 6 players, and it said general playtime is 1 to 2 hours. So that is all you need to know about Heroes of the Colosseum by Lock and Load. We'll see how correct I am when I get off of here and my husband specifies or gives me anything that I was missing. That's usually what happens. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you do, give it a thumbs up. And again, thank you for the thoughts and the prayers for our son. He's doing good, and we will see you guys in another video soon.